Welcome to Outside Boys. Today on this channel, I'll be working on my 50cc scooter, getting it running. We bought a new carb for it, bought an air filter for it, and stuff like that. And it should be running in this video. I cannot test it because it's raining, but I can at least get it done and get it running. It may not start. We have been having issues with the starter spinning over, but this scooter, when we first got it, it was nothing but a frame. Didn't have a steering column on it, didn't have tires on it, didn't have an engine on it, didn't have nothing on it. And we hand-wired the entire thing, so it's still kind of a mess. Doesn't look exactly how it should. We still need to put another exhaust on it. And let's just get into the video and see what happens. Here's the scooter. Obviously, it's not the best looking. We do not have any plastics for it. But like I said, we started with a literal frame. We had nothing on it but a frame. The wiring is completely done by us. We did the entire wiring system. We put all the lights on it. We put the blinkers on it. We wired everything up. We probably have about 20 hours in the wiring on this thing. It used to go about 49 miles an hour before we get high performance carb, which is in this box. We just get it. So I'm hoping, since it used to go up to 49 miles an hour, before the high performance carb, brand new spark plug, and a few new other parts, I'm hoping now we can get it up to about 55 or more, possibly. Right now the carburetor that's on it is right there. It's an old carb. And also, that carb doesn't have an air cleaner. This was a spare carb we had laying around as spare parts. And the problem was, it ran decent. Didn't run the best. But when you drove it in the rain, rainwater would get sucked up into the carb, and it wouldn't run no more. So that was our problem, and that's what we're going to try to fix. And I just realized that this is half off. That should be fine. And when we wired it, we put all the wiring, the entire wire harness under the seat, except for the little bit of wires I had to run up to the steering wheel to make all the switches and everything work. And we went with a lawnmower battery for testing purposes, because these stupid little scooter batteries, when you go to test them, you can only get like 4 or 5 turns out of them, and then they die immediately. Then you gotta charge them, so the whole time you're working on them, you gotta have the battery plugged in. So we eliminated that and made it work with this. We are having stator issues. If y'all do not know what that is, it's a part that is under here and almost inside the block of the engine. That when the engine spins, it charges the battery, is what that is on these small engines. We do not know what's going on with that, but that doesn't really concern us too much, because it should be fine. So I guess let's go ahead and start putting the carb on, which means we need to remove this plastic thing, which is a seat bucket. Up here broke. There's supposed to be 2 bolts up here to hold it down, but since that broke, there's no longer bolts here. There is 1 bolt there, and another bolt over here, which is the only 2 things that hold this on. It's right there. You can't really see it. So what I'll go ahead and do, just so the video doesn't take too long, is I'll go and take those 2 bolts out, take the battery out, and then pick it back up when I get that done. And then we'll throw the new carb on and throw the new parts on. And we should be good. So I'll go and do that. And turn the camera back on when I'm done. There we go. I got it down to the carb. And this carb, you can tell from these wires, has been lit on fire before. It did catch on us with like my 3rd or 4th test drive. It caught fire on us, which is not necessarily a good thing, but can't control it all the time. And no, I do not know exactly what this wire goes to. I'm pretty sure it's the auto choke, which we did not wire up on the scooter, and it runs fine without it. So I'm not going to hook it up on the other one I'm not going to hook it up with the new carb neither. I don't even think we have a plug on this homemade wiring harness. But you can obviously tell this fire ate up this wire pretty badly. And it's all over your hands if you just touch it. This goes to the starter. I don't know why it's not connected to the starter. It was supposed to be connected to the starter, but obviously you can tell it's not. I'm taking the throttle cable off now. That's the next easiest thing to take off. Except for on this one. It sticks occasionally like that. You just get to run it and pull it right out. Pretty easy. Is this bolt also a 10 mil? No, it's not. I'll just use a flathead. That'll be the easiest. While I'm here, having a 10 mil in my hand, yeah, might as well just take that whole thing off instead of taking that just the carb off, because it came with an entire new hose and everything. Might as well replace it all. I'm lucky that it caught on fire in the yard instead of me driving down the road, because that would have been bad. Wouldn't be the first thing that's caught on fire with me driving before, but it'd be the first thing, the first scooter catching on fire on me. Maybe an extension will help me out a little bit, instead of just having that little bit of room. I can come over here and grab a pretty decent size extension. And of course I dropped that. And I dropped this phone quite a bit. There we go. Now I gotta have a little bit more room to turn the ratchet. Which works a little bit better. That one's not hand loosened yet. I thought it was. Yes, this is a mess of wires. Not really too much we can do about that. I mean, there is. We just haven't bothered with it yet. Just because what's really the point in bothering with it right now? Go ahead and set this over here. Four-wheeler seat. That's another project if you want to see it on this channel. I'm diesel swapping this four-wheeler. You can go to my channel and see that video. Having a few issues with it. Not really too many though. Now this just comes right off. Should come right off at least. Now that my seat's trying to fall off with all my wiring in it. Not really a good thing. There you go. Go ahead and pull this line off. Here's the old carb. Not at all in the best of shape, but new carb's in a little bit better condition. That's more plastics that came off from inside the seat cover to keep wires from falling down into the carb. Here here's the new one. Pretty much the exact same carb. If my camera could focus. There we go. Pretty much the exact same carb. Just this one's a racing carb and that one's not. All the connections are the same though. Just this one's made to go faster than that one. So the rest of, here's that new part that I was talking about. It's right there. It gave me a new one, which is a good thing. I'm going to pause the video, put this on that carb, and get everything ready to put on the bike. And then pick it back up when I'm done with that. And also I'm going to put the air filter on this. Not going to bother filming that, because I need 2 hands. And I don't have a tripod. And I need 2 hands for all this. There we go. Get the new carb situated. Get it all together. And it looks a whole lot better than that carb. And it's a little bit bigger, which means faster. Top-down view, side by side, you can tell it's a little bit bigger. From the other side of it, can't really tell too much of a difference. Except for, obviously, the new one's a little bit bigger all the way around, which means a little bit better. Already got the first little thing on. So I can go ahead and slide all this into place. And I missed. And I'm assuming this carb is already tuned and cleaned. Not all the time they come tuned and cleaned brand new. I'm going to assume it is, so I don't have to tune it and clean it. It should come clean. 90% of them do come clean, brand new. But some of them don't come tuned, brand new. That's something you gotta watch out for. If it doesn't run on your brand new carb, that's more than likely not tuned correctly. Or your engine could be bad or something. But if you know it's a carb, and you buy one and it doesn't run good on the new carb, then your brand new carb could not be tuned yet. I know not to over tighten these, just snug them. Because you over tighten them, it'll strip the threads out, and then you'll have a very, very bad day once these threads get stripped out. It's not a good thing. I almost stripped this thread out. And those of y'all that work on things a lot, y'all could probably see that I almost stripped it out too. Which is not good. I was able to recover from that mistake though. And fix it before it stripped out. Come on, Bolt. Obviously, it's easier to do this two-handed. I may go to the other side, actually. It may be a little bit easier for y'all to see what I'm doing. And for me to do it. I may have to pause it again to do it two-handed, actually. Because this may be tricky. Or what I could do, start it in here. Just twist down, hope that pops in. Failed. Down. Think I got it this time? Yep, I got it this time. That's what you want. Jordan, when you hit your throttle, turns the inside of the carb. Which then dumps more gas inside the carb and then makes it go faster. That doesn't look too bad on there, actually. The only bad is, this is a whole lot longer on this carb than it was with the other one. So I may actually have to run this somewhere a bit different. I could run it up to there, actually. Untie this and wrap it how I had the other one. Yes, scooters will run without this carb, or without this wire coming out the carb. This is just your manual choke for it. I really need to fix that. That's bothering me. It'll be fine for now. It's just your manual choke. It will run without it. You just, sometimes, it may not want to. But it is not 100% necessary to get your scooter to run. What is necessary is spark, fuel, and air. Is the main necessary things you need to make it run. To make anything run. Obviously, these clamps are made to do with pliers instead of your fingers. But you can do it with your fingers and get it to work. So now I'll probably just throw the battery box back where it was and see what happens. Unless this carb kit came with anything else new. Don't need it. Oh, spark plug. That I can replace on camera. Brand new spark plug. Unless this one has a racing spark plug in it, then I may not replace it. Because I'm pretty sure this one already has a racing spark plug in it. And if it does, then I'm not going to replace it and just put that in my scooter pile. Back in the other shop. I do have spark plug sockets. I'm pretty sure it's this one. I don't think. Yeah, I think it is this one. Alright, check with this spark plug right here. Hang on, give me just a second. Yep, this is the right socket. So we're good there. Now I need the ratchet. Which again, doing most of this one-handed is tricky. But doable. I can probably actually tell if this is a racing carb or not just by pulling this off. Yes, it is. So I'm leaving that spark plug in it. So now I have a racing carb on it as well, which should make it go a whole lot faster. Oh, and another thing I can do while this thing's torn apart is we got a racing CDI for it. If y'all do not know what that looks like, the racing CDI. Let me get it open. Here's a racing CDI for a 50cc scooter. And obviously my CDI is inside this box where all the rest of my wires are. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is just throw everything back on it. And then get inside the box, replace the CDI after I throw the whole thing back up there. Okay, the box is back on. And what I did not realize, which I found out off camera, is this CDI will not work in this machine. Because we used this CDI that we had laying around. And obviously, that plug and that plug is two different plugs. So that's going to be a slight problem. That means I'm just going to have to run the normal CDI with the race carb, which kind of sucks. But that's the CDI box we have on it, because that's what we had as spare parts. That's one bad thing about just randomly making stuff out of spare parts. You get stuff like this. Here's positive wires. And here's the negative wires. Do not know where that brown goes. 100%. So now all I'll need is my starter wire. Bingo, found it. As I can. Go ahead while I'm here. Hook the starter back up. Since it's supposed to be hooked up. I'm going to need 2 hands to do this real quick. I'm going to hook the starter wire up to the starter, which is right there. And then pick it back up when I'm done with that. Okay, get that wire hooked up to the starter. Now all I need to do is, I guess, put the battery back in it and see if it works. That's the next step, I think. It's got the carb in it. I could not get the CDI in it. It's the wrong CDI. So that means that's all I can do to it. I'm definitely going to try to order another CDI, or I may just rewire that scooter a little bit and wire the new CDI to it. Because I do not like that fact of me not being able to use that CDI that I just bought. Things happen like that when you don't pay attention to what you order, really. Okay, how did I have this battery in here before? Positive goes on that side, negative goes on this side. I might as well throw my plastic pieces in there first. At least that one, it'll be easier with it in there first. These don't bolt down or anything. All these do is just keep all these wires out from falling down in there. That I can go and pick up and out. To where none of these get caught on anything. Let's turn this around here. I do not know if any of y'all have ever worked on anything custom, that's really custom like this. But when you work on something really custom like this, you do have to watch that nothing touches the block of the engine. Especially wires and hoses and stuff, like this hose is just touching this, which would end up melting this hose. All the wires, if they touch the block anywhere, they will also melt. So it's very important to keep all your wires off the block of the engine. Which none of them are touching, which is a good thing. And I definitely don't really want wires getting caught in here, because when you twist the throttle, they get stuck in there. Then it could pinch them and make a bad spot in the wire, and then it won't work. So now that plastic piece is in, I can throw the battery in, then I'll put this other plastic piece in, show you all what it does. It also serves a purpose, but not the purpose to keep wires from falling down. And I'm really glad this scooter, specifically, has a very big seat box. Some of them don't have this big of a seat box. Like this one. Seat box is tiny in this one. Both of them have lawnmower batteries. And this one, I obviously have a whole bunch more room to put my lawnmower battery. That one, it kind of just has to sit in one spot. That is fine, though. Now I'll grab this. Oh, yeah. This goes here. That's my battery holder. That holds the battery in this thing. versus an actual battery clamp. It just wedges in between all the plastics in here and wires and holds it in. And this is a USB, which also goes in here, which can charge my phone like a real vehicle. All this goes to positive. Positive's over here. I do not know where this brown wire goes exactly. I'll have to find out. What wire runs to this? It's this wire. I'm not hooking this up yet because, like I mentioned earlier in the video, my stator is having issues working. And since I have stator issues, that means it will not charge the battery, which means I'm not plugging that in. Because if I plug that in, then the battery will not charge. And it's not really going to work out too good. So I'm going to go ahead and stop the video again. Use both my hands. Connect the battery up. Throw all the wires for this in here. And then see what works and see what doesn't work. And hopefully see if this thing runs with the new carb on it. There we go. The battery and everything's hooked up. Now I'm just going to see what works and see what doesn't work. Oh, I forgot about that. The brake switches. See how brake light's on? This brake switch, when you push it down, now it's off. Now it's on, now it's off. It's literally just that much movement. And the brake's all the way out that way. It just doesn't hold the brake on. Something's jacked up with that a little bit. But anyway, see if the blinkers work. Down's working. Down's working. Down's working. That front one's working. Headlight test. Headlight's working. The top ones are not wired up yet. Brake light obviously works. Start. Starting works. Horn's not wanting to work. Is the horn loose? Horn's not wanting to work. Everything else is working, so I'm not really going to worry about it. Maybe you got to do that for the horn to work? No. Maybe that? No, I don't know. Horn ain't working, I know that much. Okay. So I guess I turn fuel on and see if this puppy will crank. It may not. Oh, I need to fix this. I may just pull this cover off. Fix it later, see what happened to that. I just forgot about that and re-noticed it again. And of course I dropped the phone again. Okay, hold on to this thing today apparently. Need an 8mm. I'm going to use a little short extension. Make sure my camera's not blurry. There it is. Okay. This should be an 8mm. Let me see if there's any bolts underneath. There was literally just that one bolt holding this thing on. That is insane. I don't know how I didn't notice that while I was driving it. Weird thing is, it wasn't making any kind of noises or anything while I was driving. I don't know how it wasn't making any noise while I was driving it with this being so loose. That just really surprises me. And I about dropped it again. Everything looks in good condition in here. Belt's in good shape. Clutch is in good shape. Everything's in good shape. Starter's in good shape. Well, good enough shape at least. Not the best shape, not the worst shape. That's what you call good enough shape. Let me see if I can find a few more bolts like this. I bet I can. Not similar. I may have to go to my scooter pile. See if I can grab a few more parts like this. Which scooter pile is in my building. Not this building. Which it's back here. Okay. With a few more projects in here. Just a few more. Scooter pile is right there. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna have to dig through this whole box. I guess I'll let y'all go pick it back up when I find 4 or 5 of these bolts. And then put that back together and see what happens when I try to crank it. Okay, I got that all on. It's bolted now. I had to do a little bit of... I had to get a little creative with it. But there's 4 bolts on it. And it's held in there really good now. So the next thing is try to start it. I bet you this is my horn wire. Actually. Which side turns brown? Yep, that side turns brown. So I either need to hook this to the negative. I think I need to hook this to the negative for the horn to work. Hang on, give me just a second. I'm gonna hold this thing to the negative. See if it works. Nope, not the negative then. Then the positive. Yep. So this needs to be hooked to the positive, this brown wire, to make the horn work. I'll get on that right now then. My wrench is still over here. Somewhere apparently, unless I set it up here. I don't know what I did with it. When this goes to my shop's organized a little bit better. This is my toolkit, so it'll go to my shop sometime. There it is. So all my stuff will be a little bit more organized. I can work on things a little bit better then. And also, I don't know if y'all noticed, when I went in there, it was not just dirt. I was on pallets. Which is a whole lot better to work on pallets than it is dirt. Especially when you're having to do jobs like this. I know y'all can't see very much. I have to use both my hands. There we go. Now I can use... Nope, still need to use 2 hands. Okay, that's tight enough. Now the horn works. Yep. That's off. Does it work constantly? Until you flip the switch off? No? Horn always works. That's weird. Oh yeah. Well, that's it for this video, I guess. I need to change the exhaust. I'll go ahead and change the exhaust. I have to go get one of the other exhausts. To change the exhaust. Because this exhaust is kind of not very stable. That's not very solid. We cannot connect it anywhere, anyhow. So I'm going to have to get an exhaust that we can actually connect to it. Probably... Nah, that's fine. Pretty sure it's a 10mm bolt. Which is fine, I guess, if it is a 10mm. Hoping it is. No, it's way smaller than 10 mil. I think it's an 8 mil then. It just bolts up to the bottom as a head. And it stays not raining. Just as of the second, it's not raining. If it continues to not rain, I may take it up and down the road and test it. Maybe. That all depends on the weather. Because I don't know if any of y'all have ever tried to drive a scooter in the rain. It sucks. It is an 8 mil. I'll probably go ahead and take this exhaust off. Then I take this exhaust off. Get one of these. Then I'll go back there and choose which exhaust I want. I have like 2 or 3 in my parts pile. Don't know if y'all seen it. I guess I'll go ahead and take this exhaust off camera, because I'm going to need 2 hands again. So take this exhaust off camera, bring it exhaust up here, and see if it'll work. Alright, so I got the old exhaust off. I ended up going with this exhaust that we had, and getting it on there. It's the biggest exhaust we had, just to make it look funnier. And it starts up and runs pretty easy. Yeah. Obviously, with it being a new carb, it needs to run to make it run better. But it runs pretty good. And that'll be it for this video. So I'll see you next video.